guys, it's me, Jenny, and since I'm currently at home and I do talk about books, we have to fulfill the cliches, so I'm gonna do a bookshelf tour. Now, first off, I have to say that I don't own a lot of books because I love libraries. We have some great libraries here in my hometown, and I love ebooks because they're just so easy and so practical. But these are two different topics that we won't talk about. So let's get started on the book tour. So I'll give you a quick overview of my bookshelf. These are all the books. Now down there, I'm not gonna review that part because that's just junk. Then I have books over here, and then I have more books over here. And that's more junk. So yeah, that's it. I'll start up top, and one thing that you'll notice throughout this bookshelf tour is that my editions, I don't really care for editions, so my books look really mumble jumbled. Yeah, up front I have the Artemis Fowl series, and this is exemplary because the first four are actually in German. I got these when I was younger, and then these I got whenever they came out, so these are all in English. And then I have A Guy Goes Into a Bar book, which has all the guy goes into a bar jokes in it, and a lot of these are inappropriate, especially since I got this book when I was 7. But look at the cover, it's like a or look at the form of this book. It's like a whiskey bottle, or I don't know what kind of bottle. It's just so cool. Then I have a school cafeteria joke book, which wasn't really that good. Oops. But I got at a dollar sale. I'm not gonna pick up right now. I have this alien book, which is actually my brother's. Oh yeah, my brother's books are also in here because we share the same bookshelf. Then I have The Secret of Platform 13 by Eva Ibbotson. I have By the Shores of Silver Lake. These are like the little prairie books. I used to have a friend who loved these, and she gave me one, but I didn't really enjoy them, to be honest. So yeah. I have 6 and 7 of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid books. These are my brother's. He loves them. He's read them up and down. I don't know how many times. We have 1 through 5 up here. Then back here, let me zoom in. There you go. I have The Chronicles of Narnia, all 7 books, and I love these. I got these when I was, I don't know, like 10 or something. I read these up and down at least 2 or 3 times. Then I have another Eva Ibbotson book, which is Witch. And then back here, I have all Ramona Quimby books. At least I think they're all Ramona Quimby, I hope. From Beezus. My stuff is falling down. From Beezus and Ramona to Ramona's World. Now I'm gonna move some books aside and try not to throw more stuff off my bookshelf. Now moving on, I have 3 Henry books. I don't think I've read all of them. I read Henry and Beezus and Henry and the Paper Route. Henry books were never as good as Ramona books, so yeah. Then I have Running Out of Time by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I really love this book. I think it was my first book going into the direction of YA dystopian sci-fi. I can't remember. I read this when I was like 12 or something. Then I have 2 Nancy Drew books, The Spider Sapphire Mystery and The Clue of the Dancing Puppet. Now, I used to be scared as shit by puppets and marionettes and anything that looked humanoid and wasn't supposed to talk or walk, and there was a mystery or something creepy surrounding it, so that book scared me a lot. Then of course I have Matilda by Roald Dahl, I have The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, and I have this Tripod series, which my mom got for me. It's like a sci-fi series, and I've never read this before, so yeah. Catching the Dust right here. Then I have some short stories which are half English, half Chinese. I don't know where I got these from. It's just like Henry VIII. Then I have, I think, Secret Garden. I have Agatha Christie, Little Princess. These are like more classical stories, Robinson Crusoe. So yeah, ugh, can't get these back in. Well, it doesn't matter. Then I have 1 Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul. I used to love these Chicken Soup books, and I got one. And up here, I have all the Captain Underpants books, and these are my brother's books because, as you can tell, he likes quality literature. You know, he's a little boy. Obviously, he likes these kind of books. I used to enjoy Captain Underpants a lot as well. Moving down. Now, let's see. Down here, I have my English, partly YA, partly adult fiction books, and some kind of little things right here, which I don't really know. I'm not gonna zoom in. So let's start back here. I have The Perks of Being a Wallflower, which I actually got from a Goodreads friend. She sent it to me because she got it in a sale and she finished it, and she wanted to buy a new copy. I can't talk anymore. So she sent me her copy, which was really nice of her. So thank you if you're watching this. Then I have Elizabeth. This is one of the Royal Diaries, and this is the one on Empress Elizabeth. And I used to love that woman. I had a phase where I read all the books about that era up and down, and I was kind of obsessed with her. There's a musical, I've seen it, and I loved it, and yeah. Then I have Middlesex by Jeffrey Eugenides. I've never read The Virgin Suicides before. I really want to read it, but then this book, I don't know, it was alright. It was a nice read. It had an interesting concept behind it, but it wasn't really, you know, down my alley that much. Then I have The Autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman, which is a book on US slavery and rights and etc. And we read that in English class. Really liked it, actually. It was a really nice book. Then I have two John Green books. I have Paper Towns and The Fault in Our Stars. Got Paper Towns, I think, in Canada a couple years ago, and I got The Fault in Our Stars, it's a signed copy, when it first came out, and I got it signed again because I saw John Green narrating, and it was awesome. Now, The Reluctant Fundamentalists. I already did a review on this book, which I got for my birthday. Catch-22. That sounds very American right now. Catch-22. Which I got in London for, I think, £1 on a flea market. Then I have Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. A really nice book. A beautiful, beautiful movie. I have the first 3 Song of Ice and Fire books here. I'm currently on my the fourth book, The Feast for Crows. But I'm really slow at reading these books because I never gravitate towards them. I never pick them up. And once I do, I read a lot, but they just seem so fat, and it just kind of puts me off a little bit. But I really love them. Like, I love the TV show, I love the books, so yeah. I'm definitely gonna read all the books. Then I have 2 Terry Pratchett books. One of them is Hawk's Father, one of them is Interesting Times. Both I got for my birthday. Now, I'm not the hugest Terry Pratchett fan. I know a lot of people love his humor, love his writing, but I don't know. I just, you know, I read them. They're alright, but not really. I have The Westing Game, which is a murder mystery, and it's really cool and awesome. I have The Lovely Bones, which was really hyped about, and I actually got this way, way back. And I read it, and I did not like it at all. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a coming-of-age story. It's kind of, you know, about rape and stuff, but the themes, topics are really interesting, but the story I just didn't really like it. I have one lonesome Nicholas Sparks novel, which is The Notebook, because I just wanted to see what Nicholas Sparks was about, why all the people loved him so much. It was alright, you know. There are better novels out there, but it was alright. Then I have Animal Farm, which I read for school. And then I have The Memoirs of a Teenage Amnesiac by Gabrielle Zevin. Zevin? I don't know. Because I really love her books. I've read Elsewhere and I've read Margarettown, and I don't know if she has more books out, but I really love those two, so I decided to pick up her 3rd book. And this one is also, you know, like a YA book, but I really love her writing. Up here, I have The Time Traveler's Wife, which is one of my favorite books, and I really loved it. And then I have Her Fearful Symmetry. I expected a lot more out of this book, especially after this one, but I was thoroughly disappointed. It's totally different, and I just don't know. I really don't know what I should think about this book. Then I have The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling, and my hand is shaking because this camera is really heavy. It's good. I really like the ending. First 450 pages are kind of tough to get through, but it's a good book. Moving down to my big fat book section, mixed in with some little small books. Now up here, my voice just went really high. I have the complete Sherlock Holmes, which are Barnes & Noble editions, which I got, I don't know, a lot of years back. And as you can tell, I've only read half of the first volume. I really like Sherlock Holmes. I've always really liked Sherlock Holmes. But after reading, I don't know, like 7, 10 Sherlock Holmes stories back to back, kind of get, or at least I kind of got tired of it, so I put it down and I never picked it back up. So yeah, really want to read them at some point though. Now here I have some German books, which mostly we got for German class. These are like Reklam books. They sell them here for €1 to €3, so they're really cheap. They're not low quality, but they're designed so you can basically study them and you can write stuff in them. So they're all, you know, highlighted, and I wrote notes for them, and I got most of them for German class. I have Faust, then I have Romeo and Juliet in German, which I only bought because I really wanted to read it, but I haven't yet. Then I have Emilia Galotti. Most of them won't, you know, mean anything to you. Das Fräulein von Scuderie and Michael Kohlhaas, and every single one of them is marked because my German teacher, he was a whirlwind. Let's just keep it at that. The Scarlet Letter, I have some English classics, and then I have Huckleberry Finn. These are like the fancy Barnes & Noble editions. And then I have The Inheritance Cycle. Yeah. Then I have Jane Austen, completed works. There's actually no Watsons and no Sanditon on here because they're uncompleted, but I have all her novels. I read through a couple of them. Then I have his Dark Materials. I read through The Golden Compass, I read through The Subtle Knife, and I stopped halfway through the Spyglass, Amber Spyglass, because I just got bored of it, and I really want to finish the series as well, but I probably have to reread the first 2 books before I can pick it back up. Then I have my copy of The Host, and you can tell the spine was very well loved. It still is very well loved. Great book. Then I have my Hunger Games series here, which, you know, isn't that impressive. So this is the next part of my bookshelf, and I have a lot of stuffed animals here because why not? They're cute. I like them. They're like fluffy, and collect them, and my brothers collect them over the years, so they're just here. Probably catching the list as well. Now up here I have my Infernal Devices and my Mortal Instruments, and you can tell that I started reading them somewhere between City of Glass and City of Fallen Angels. I think I started reading them a week before City of Fallen Angel came out, which is why these are the short paperback and these are like the large paperback version. Same goes for the Infernal Devices series. Now, my Twilight series is probably the most mismatched series that I own. I started reading it shortly after Eclipse came out, so again, 2 short versions, 1 large version. And I have the short Second Life of Britannia, which I read once. I have Breaking Dawn, which is pretty good actually. And then I have the official illustrated guide, which I've never read. I only flipped through it. It wasn't that good, to be honest. Then I have my lonely copy of The Hobbit. I do want to pick up Lord of the Rings at some point. I know, shocker, I've not read Lord of the Rings yet. Then I have Tales of Beedle the Bard. I actually have 2 Harry Potter copies, but one of them is upstairs right now. And this is actually mine, which is the tattered copy. I mean, look at this. I've had this since, I don't know, I've had this book for like 14 years now, and I've read this a lot, and I played with it, as you can tell. Then I have 2 to 4 in German and 5 to 6 in English again, which is, again, a very mismatched series, and I can't speak anymore. Moving up, more stuffed animals, I guess. Then I have Focus. I have Die Bienenhüterin, which is the German version of The Secret Life of Bees. I really like this book, especially like the cover of this book. It's like a fabric cover, and it is very small if you compare it to regular sized books, so I think it's really cute and adorable. Then I have the German version of The Da Vinci Code and Deception Point. I actually read all 4 of Dan Brown's novels except for The Lost Symbol and his most recent novel, but I've read you know, Angels and Demons and Digital Fortress, I can't remember. Now this is a German book with short stories in them, which I got for my birthday last year, and it's about sassy women and their relationship problems and I don't know what. Then this is a German book which I got this year for my birthday. It translates into the 100-year-old who climbed out of the window and disappeared. I don't know what it is in English, but it was really big on the bestseller lists for the past year. Now here I have some children's books which are partly mine, partly my brother's. This is a book by Astrid Lindgren. I don't know what it translates to in English. Here it would just say Carlson from the Roof, and if you know Pippi Longstocking, then you know this author. Here I have a 2-volume Meg Cabot book. It has 2 novels which are All American Girl and Teen Idol in it. Then I have this Austauschkind by Christine Nöstinger, which is a really famous Austrian children's book writer. Then I have Bitterschokolade, which I've never read and which we were supposed to read in German class, but I never did because I wasn't there. Then I have Stuffed Sock Zebra, which my cousin made for me, which was really cute. Then I have Räuber Hotzenplotz, which is a famous children's book trilogy about a thief, I think, which these are my brother's books, so I've never read them. Then I have The Boy Who Lost His Face and Holes in German, and I have Am Abgrund der Zeit, which is a really good book. I used to love this book. It's about time traveling, about a boy who actually travels through space by controlling time, by slowing down and accelerating time, and the consequences of his time traveling. So it's a really interesting book. Now moving on to the last section of my bookshelf up here, focus. I have my German fiction, non-fiction, not children's books shelf, I guess. I'll start here. So this is called Die Provençalin, which is basically a French version, I can't get it out, a French version of Game of Thrones. And there's a lot of sex and fights and wars in it, and I read this when I was like 12, and this was massive and slightly disturbing at that time, but it was really awesome, to be honest. Then I have 2 books which I read for German class, Tristan und Isolde und Das Nibelungenlied. I really like this book, this one not so much. Then I have Water for Elephants, the German version. I got this at a book sale for I think €3 because I read it in English and I really liked it, so I thought, why not get a German copy when it's so cheap? Then I have Die Wand, which is an apocalyptic novel, and it's a legit apocalyptic novel, not like one of these YA dystopian kinds. I also read this for German class. Then I have Die Klavierspielerin by Elfriede Jelinek. She's a famous author. I think she won a Nobel Prize, and this book is seriously messed up. This is about a piano teacher, and she has weird psychological and sexual issues. I don't know, it's just really, really messed up. Then I have That's the Tag der Schöpfung, which I've never read, but I like the title and I like the cover, so I bought it. It was during the same book sale as the Water for Elephants one. Then I have Physik der Superhelden, which translates into physics of the superheroes, and it looks really interesting. I actually won this at a physics competition at school, but I've never read it. I think I started reading it, but I stopped. I think I should definitely read this at some point. Then I have Weiterleben, which is a Second World War concentration camp autobiography. Sorry. Read this, and this was so boring. Like, I really like the era, and I think it's really interesting to read about and to learn about, but this book is just, it was terrible. It was just terrible. I think my whole entire class hated it. Then I have Donna Leon, which this one is, I think, another crime murder mystery. It's the first book in her Kommissar Brunetti series. I don't know. Then I have Festung der Einsamkeit. I bought this because I like the title and I like the cover, and I've never read it. Yeah. Then I have this Auf die Länge kommt es an, which is a compilation of very, very short stories, which are like, you know, like these are short, very short stories, and they have twists in the end, which makes them very interesting and slightly morbid, but very fun to read. And I have another Terry Pratchett book in German, which I got for my birthday. I don't know why people always give me Terry Pratchett books for my birthday, but they do. Please stop. Then I have Großes Anton Großes Solo for Anton. It's another apocalyptic book because I took a class in German apocalyptic literature, which is why I have a couple apocalyptic novels in here. Then I have Jeha droht der Strom, which is about a guy who is in Egypt and who gets high, but it was really boring even though he does get high. And then I have The Siebte Kreuz, which is another World War II concentration camp novel. Because we did that era in German class, as you might be able to conclude for yourself. Then I have, this is like the theater, the original version of Spring Awakening. Yes, Spring Awakening is actually a German theater script thingy. I don't know what it's called. And then back here, I'm not gonna pull these two out. I have Shadow of the Wind and Angel's Game by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I have no idea how to pronounce that in Spanish, even though I took 4 years of Spanish in school. Really love these books. These are like the Graveyard of Forgotten Books book series. And I haven't read the third book yet, but I have to do that because I really, really love these books and I highly recommend them. So go check them out. Yeah. So this was my bookshelf. I hope you enjoyed it, and I've had this video was a workout to film, and yeah, you can stalk me on Goodreads. Thanks for watching and see you next time.